Sports fans, welcome to our channel. High in the snowy mountains of Cortina d'Ampezzo, surrounded by the breathtaking peaks of the Dolomites, one athlete stood at the start gate of the snowboard cross course. The cold air was sharp, the crowd quiet with anticipation. But this moment wasn't just about competition. It was about courage. It was about defiance. And at the center of it all was Davy Zyw. Because years ago, doctors told him something devastating. He had motor neurone disease, and he might only have 18 months to live. Yet here he was, nearly 8 years later, competing on one of the world's biggest stages at the Winter Paralympics. When Zyw was first diagnosed at just 30 years old, his life changed overnight. At the time, he was working in London as a sommelier and wine buyer. His first symptom seemed small, a numb thumb. Doctors initially suspected carpal tunnel syndrome. But the reality was far more serious. For many patients with motor neurone disease, time moves quickly. Some lose their lives within a year or two. But Zyw's journey unfolded differently. The disease progressed slowly, yet it steadily weakened his hands and upper body. Still, instead of surrendering to despair, he made a decision that would define his life, control the one thing he could, his attitude. Snowboarding, a passion he had discovered as a child in Edinburgh, became his symbol of resistance. Even after injuries and physical decline, the mountain remained his battlefield. Standing at the Paralympic start gate wasn't just a race. It was proof that life's toughest diagnoses cannot erase human determination. And he wasn't alone. Fans rallied behind him with incredible passion. The Davy Zyw fan club filled the stands waving British and Scottish flags. Blue hats with his name covered the crowd. On the bus ride to the slopes, fans began chanting loudly, "No Davy, no party." Among those cheering the loudest were his wife Evie and his young son Alexander, who watched proudly as his father raced down the course. But the journey wasn't easy. During one race, Zyw crashed hard and suffered 2 broken ribs after already injuring his knee in training. The pain was so intense he couldn't even laugh or sneeze. Most athletes would stop there. But Zyw returned to the start gate again. When he competed in the banked slalom event, he finished 19th. Yet in truth, the result meant nothing. Because this story was never about medals. It was about courage. For Davy Zyw, the Paralympics represent something far deeper than competition. They represent memories, pride, resilience, moments that will strengthen him for the rest of his life. One day, when he can no longer snowboard, he'll look back at these runs on the Paralympic stage.